Also, I'm kind of assuming as well, you can't sense Sephiroth there. Because you've not been able to do it for the weapons. But, yeah, that is the fight. It's over. Yuffie just flat on the floor. This is all we could do. Wait, what about Holy? What's going to happen to the planet? That? I don't know. Isn't the rest up to the planet? You're right. We've done all that we could do. Alright, everyone. We did our best. That's it. Let's go home proud. Yeah, because it's all very well and good taking down Sephiroth, right? The meteor's still falling. We haven't changed that yet. What happened? I feel it. What? He's still here. Oh, he's still in my head. Still? Cloud? He's laughing. Cloud. Ooh. Okay. There isn't a one-on-one fight with Sephiroth, is there? Like, I was expecting that to be it. Nah, you know what? This is an animated cutscene. They put budget into this. There's not going to be a fight after this. And this doesn't look like the live stream either. Oh, there he is! The shirtless Sephiroth. You're right, we didn't have a fight against shirtless Sephiroth! There he is. No wing! Oh. The only thing you can do is a limit break and attack. Ah, if I do this... Yeah. Whoa! Excuse me? I mean, Cloud... Whoa! Okay. I feel like I should have done Omnislash to finish it off, but I wasn't expecting him to, first of all, do that much damage, and for me to counterattack for, well, it's basically a, yeah, it's a cutscene fight. You just do one attack and it's over. But yeah, that's why there is shirtless Sephiroth. Was he shirtless at any other point in the game? I don't think he was he? And we didn't see the wing either. Scripted whim. Oh, live stream. Hmm? Hello? Ah, it's Tifa. Oh, it's Tifa. Why couldn't it have been Aerith? No. Yeah. Come on, guys. Time to get out of here. I think I'm beginning to understand. What? An answer from the planet. The Promised Land. I think I can meet her there. Yeah, let's go meet her. Hey, where is everyone? Hey! I'm glad you're all safe. They all seem to be safe too. But now what we're gonna do? Holy should be moving soon. And that means this place will... Oh, Lady Luck, don't fail me now. Ah! Yeah, because Sid's not the pilot of the Highwind. We're relying on full pilot doing this. The daring rescue from Northern Crater. Everyone on the ship, quick! We gotta get out of here. Ooh! Oh, we're actually just getting lifted out. Nice. Oh no! It's breaking apart! Yeah! Shit! They actually put that in? Uncensored? I am very surprised. So what were all the words before? Is this... calm? The layout looks like it's calm. Oh, Marlene. We never went back to Marlene. The flower girl? Did they move to calm after Midgar? Emergency rocket plane. Yeah, basically. Oh, well, there's the meteor. Oh, that makes sense, actually. If Meteor's coming towards Midgar, you probably want to get further away from it if you could. I never made that connection that Marlene would have moved to Calm instead. Well, goodbye Shinra Corporation. Because, well, Rufus has been dead for a while, but I don't know whether Scarlet and Heidegger also got caught in that. And the Turks obviously made it out alive, even after that last fight we had with them, so... yeah. Ooh, a flash in the distance. Holy! Ah. Oh, yep, Cosmo Canyon. Bugenhagen, wake up! Oh, hold on. Breaking through. The macro reactors are being destroyed. Oh, there we go, yep. So, I guess we didn't need all those other pieces of the ship. Wait a damn minute. What's gonna happen to Midgar? We can't let that happen. I had everyone take refuge in the slums. But the way things are now... It's too late for Holy. Meteor is approaching the planet. Holy is having the opposite effect. Forget Midgar. We've got to worry about the planet. But what can you do? What's that? Materia? Nah. Live stream. Bringing the planet back to life from Midgar after the industrialization of it. And to help support Holy. What the hell is that? Live stream. Everyone, wake up! Wake up! The world's not ending! It's coming! Healing the planet. Take that Mako reactor with you, Meteor. Oh, yep, and across the whole planet, the whole continent. We're saving the world! Woohoo! What's actually going to happen to Meteor? Hey! We see Aerith for the last time. The final sneak peek. Oh, that's it. They don't actually show you? Okay, I guess. But we have rolled credits. In fact, can I speed these credits up? You can, slightly. Okay. Okay. This feels like an appropriate time to speak about the game. There might be something else left to do after the credits roll, but yeah. My thoughts on Final Fantasy VII. This game absolutely deserves its status as a top 10 game of all time. Rufus didn't die. He was in the Shinra building when Weapon shot its beam attack at him. I'm pretty sure Scarlet and Heidegger even mentioned that, actually. Or at least, was it Reeve when he was being taken away by Heidegger and Scarlet? I'm pretty sure Rufus is dead. Somebody has mentioned him no longer being alive. But, yeah. Anyway. So, yes, as I was saying, this game absolutely deserves its status as a top 10 game of all time. And that is absolutely unquestionable. You could make the argument for top 5 game of all time, but that's a bit of a trickier conversation. Because I'm thinking of games like Doom and Tetris and Super Mario Brothers and Pong. Things that shape the industry, like the gaming industry and the cultural landscape of media for video games. Final Fantasy VII is absolutely up there. It makes total sense why everything following Final Fantasy VII is in the Final Fantasy VII mold. It makes sense why Final Fantasy VII Remake was the #1 requested remake, and why people are so happy that it exists. It's... You know, the funny thing is, I imagine... I've never played Final Fantasy VI, but I imagine what this game has done is pretty much very similar to Final Fantasy VI, but it was the first game to be 3D, fully 3D, and it's the PlayStation 1, which is most people's first console if they didn't have a SNES or a NES. And it's the transition from 2D to 3D, and the depth that this game has. Well, obviously being on 3 discs to begin with, 3 CDs in 1997. Like, that is, you know, I guess it would have been unheard of at the time. Because not only are CDs having so much storage in the first place, having to have 3 of them to play this game, like, mind-blowing at the time. Rufus appears in Advent Children that happens 2 years later. Well, I've never seen Advent Children. I've never played any of the other Final Fantasy VII games, like Crisis Core Reunion I know exists, and, well, obviously the remake and rebirth exist at this point. So yeah, I'm just basing it off of what's been told in this game. And yes, this is the game that separated Final Fantasy from Nintendo. The thing is that I have a feeling if the split from Nintendo hadn't happened, Final Fantasy would have been a franchise like Dragon Quest. And Dragon Quest is obviously a good Sephiroth choir, so there was supposed to be singers in that final fight. Well, anyway, I know what One Winged Angel sounds like, but anyway, that's fine. But yeah, Dragon Quest is like supposedly the grandfather of how all RPGs exist, because you know, Dragon Quest 1 is maybe the first one, and then Final Fantasy 1, 2, and so on. Well, the name Final Fantasy is kind of like, this is going to be the final one, and they started just making more of them using the name. If Final Fantasy VII didn't exist, the Final Fantasy franchise would not be as big as it is. And yeah, this is the most famous RPG franchise in the world. It's unquestionable. You could make the argument for Pokemon, right? But you wouldn't really consider Pokemon to be an RPG necessarily. This is the #1 RPG franchise. And the fact that Final Fantasy has persisted for so long is probably largely because of Final Fantasy VII. Because the Final Fantasy games 3, 4, and 5 never actually came out in the West, I think. They came out, it was 1, 2, and then 6 came out as Final Fantasy 3. But this has changed the landscape of gaming. And I totally see it. Like, you have animated cutscenes in 3D. You have the different level of characters. I said this before. It totally makes sense why this game is meant to be replayed, because not only do you have optional characters and so many different side quests that you can do, but the fact that it recontextualizes Cloud's story, like the fact that Cloud is telling a lie, the memories that he has are not his memories, they're Zack's memories. And I think that gets expanded on in Crisis Core Reunion, that you play as Zack in that game, but again, I've never played that, I'm just basing it off of this. But yeah, the depth of having Yuffie and Vincent, like, the fact that Vincent is Sephiroth's dad, and he's an optional character, you could go the entire game and never find that out. It's crazy. But also it adds to like how the game persists in people's minds. So this will be people's #1 favorite game of all time, and I can totally see why. It is that good. So yeah, surprisingly, it's a fairly easy game. I mean, we did the super bosses right at the end: Emerald Weapon, Diamond Weapon, Ruby Weapon, right? The fact that you can break the game in that way just speaks to how well crafted it is, and the fact, like the battle square, the fact that you can't just brute force your way through it, you have to use strategy in it. Makes perfect sense. They definitely put a lot of effort and thinking into the design of this. But yeah, so there are the credits. Congrats, thank you. Like 500 years later? What? What is this? Like, we can't see Cloud and everyone here, can we? Oh, Red 13 though, yeah. Okay, and he's got 2 little children. His tail's on fire. Okay. Go, Nanaki, go. Alright, well, I'm glad we did that little detour with Bugenhagen now, because this makes more sense. The circle of life, am I right? Yeah, there we go. Midgar is overgrown. We've got actual an animal life. The planet has been terraformed. Back to Gaia. There we go. Logo drop. Final Fantasy VII. Very nice. Oh. So yeah. Absolutely. this is what I wanted out of the game. I wanted to understand why it is considered to be one of the best games of all time, and I understand now. I am Danny DeVito in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia saying, I get it now. I get why people like this so much, and why it is as big as it is. And I will say, of Sephiroth, I don't think there's a better video game villain. I can't think of one. The only other character I hear about in contention is in fact Kefka from Final Fantasy VI. And again, I've never played Final Fantasy VI, so I don't know how Kefka lines up against Sephiroth. But Sephiroth is easily, of the games that I know of, a #1 villain in games. I am going to say villain, and not just, antagonist, because you do play as Sephiroth briefly. But, yeah, he's such an aura farmer. I know it's a bit cringe to say that, but the walking through the flames, the flying around, the telekinesis, the pulling people away and back, and doing magic, flying. He is so good. He is, it's interesting because Final Fantasy VII overall has very good villains, like Rufus and the Shinra Corporation. The Turks are antagonistic, but they're more tertiary antagonistic. And I like the heel turn, just seeing them in Wu Tai, chilling out, doing normal stuff. And then you don't actually have to actively kill them. You can let them, you can fight them, but then they'll leave kind of situation. I really like that. But yeah, Sephiroth is #1. And in fact, I do actually even have the Sephiroth amiibo from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And I was going to say as well, it makes total sense why people are so disappointed in how Sephiroth is in Smash Ultimate. Because, yeah, considering what he does in this game, he should be so much better. You've got Cloud, and Cloud is actually very good, because again, he was Smash DLC in Smash 4. Sephiroth should be so much better in Smash Ultimate. It's absolutely a disservice to him in how he is and so on. The trailer is very good. The whole, destroying Gleam or Darkon or whatever. Very cool. But he should be so much better. He should be, not necessarily as #1 best character in the game like Steve is, but at least like Kazuya, just I get why they give him things like Sephiroth on his move, super armor on his moves, and multiple jumps with his wing, but he should have so much more. I'm almost disappointed in how Sakurai did not translate his his overall imposing nature in the game. Stabbing Mario too, yeah. That's interesting, because again, we learn that Sephiroth is not actually Sephiroth. He's a clone. He died when Cloud got stabbed, and then he chucked him over the side of the railings in a proper Star Wars Palpatine style death, right? He blew up in the reactor or whatever. So we're not actually fighting the real Sephiroth. There's lots of lore and story in the background that I've not paid too much attention to, like the whole Genova situation. But yeah, we got Vincent, we got Ethalna, we got Lucretia. There's also sorts of stuff in the background. I imagine that stuff gets expanded out in the other games, like Advent Children or Crisis Core Reunion. Other games like the remakes as well, but he should be so much better in Smash. It makes total sense why people hate that. But and yeah, so this game is 3 discs on the PlayStation 1. I am very surprised that they made remake only Midgar. There is so much after Midgar. It kind of makes sense in a way, because Midgar is the part that people remember the most, because it's the start. It has Cloud facing the reactor, him holding the Buster Sword, which the Buster Sword is your starting weapon. You don't even use that weapon after a quarter of the game's gone. And yeah, it's just, why did they do it like that? Now to play all of the compendium around Final Fantasy. Well, Advent Children is a film, and I don't even know where you can watch that film, actually. But yeah, I don't even know. There's there's other games like Ever Crisis. I know that they did a thing where there was a Final Fantasy game with an A, B, C, D, E kind of theme to it. But yeah, I am not going to do all that. I wanted to play Final Fantasy VII to understand it, and I think I do. But Remake and Rebirth. So, again, having not played Remake and Rebirth, Remake being only Midgar is kind of wild that they would put so... It makes sense, like I said. It's the first part of the game. You remember it the most. It's the most important thing to get right. But there's so much after Midgar. Like, you've got Calm, Chocobo Farm, Costa del Sol, Junon Harbor, Gold Saucer. Then you've got Nibelheim. You've got all the other countries. You've got Wutai, which I don't think is included in Remake. Maybe the Yuffie Integrate DLC has that. I don't know. But then, yeah, there's Medial, Temple of the Ancients, Bone Village, Forgotten Capital. There's obviously Northern Crater itself. There's the Snowboard Town. I don't know what the name is actually. I forget. The Chocobo Sage, the Materia Caves themselves. Like, there is so much to do, and Rebirth only goes up to the end of Part 1. So, I have not played Final Fantasy X, no. In fact, of the Final Fantasy games, I've only ever played 4, now 7. I've played... Well, we started 15, we never finished 15. I may have played Final Fantasy 1, I'm not sure, I can't remember. If I did, it would be a Game Boy Advance version of it. But I've not played many of them, no. But yeah, so if Remake is Midgar only, and Rebirth goes up to the end of Part 1, and the end of Part 1 is Aerith dies, right? You know, and that's another pivotal thing of Aerith dying because of Sephiroth is like the #1 video game spoiler. It's like Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father levels of spoiler. It's so prevalent, people know about it even if you've never played the game. I have no idea what they're going to do for the rest of it. You have the whole of Part 2 and 3 to adapt in the third game. And yet, that's... Because Forgotten Capital is the end of Part 1, but you still got Bone Village. You've still got... I mean, I guess it makes sense that you can have certain areas that you've made, like Nibelheim, has to exist in Part 1. And Costa del Sol as well. You can reuse those areas, but you have to have Northern Crater as new. Chocobo Sage probably as new. The Materia Caves, I don't know how they handle that. The weapon fights, I don't even know if the Emerald Weapon or Ruby Weapon are even in Remake and Rebirth. I imagine they might be, but I don't know. It said that 7 and 10 are in the same universe. That kind of makes sense, because I think 10 is Van and Penelo, isn't it? Because I played Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Advance and A2, and Van and Penelo are in A2. But yeah, 7 and 10 in the same universe kind of makes sense, but I haven't played 10 itself. So 10 and 10-2, haven't played those, but that's interesting to know. So yeah, I think Square Enix have left themselves a lot to do for remaking the game in for the... Well, will it even be a PlayStation 5 game? I assume it will, because they've said that we're going to put Final Fantasy Remake and Rebirth... Well, Final Fantasy Remake on the Switch 2. Definite, confirmed, coming out. It's expected that Rebirth will come out at some point. And then the third game? Is that a PlayStation 5? Is it going to be PlayStation 6? Like, they'll do their best to adapt it for the Switch 2, I imagine, but I don't know. Because when did Rebirth come out? It came out 2 years ago, right? Yeah. It's not a confirmed theory, but some devs said it could be. Yeah, I think it's the phrasing they've said, in the Remake franchise. So it's not just Remake itself. Rebirth is included in the Remake franchise. It's just not coming out straight away. So yeah, I've no idea how they're going to handle that. It's quite nice having Disc 3 or Part 3 in the original version of the game. Just be like, yep, you can travel wherever you want. You've got the high wind. Oh, that's another thing. in Rebirth, you will have access to chocobos and chocobo breeding, I imagine. Can you get a gold chocobo and go anywhere in Rebirth? Because you should be able to do it the same in the third game as well. Oh, 7 and 10 being in the same universe is not a confirmed theory, but it could be. Okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. It's like Zelda saying, oh yeah, you know, all the games are in the same timeline. They're just, you know, millions of years in the future or in the past or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, totally, Skyward Sword is the first and Breath of the Wild is the last. Sure, just, you know, it could be, but there's no definite links between the two. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII. I have seen the additional credits, and I do know one Winged Angel plays in it. I am a bit concerned about the copyright strike on the music, or in the DMCA. You know, it's like, so I'm not gonna play it. It would have been nice for it to play in the final battle, but I'm not going to actively play it on stream. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII on the Nintendo Switch, the original Final Fantasy VII, not remake, which will be on the Switch too. Yeah, it's absolutely top 10 game of all time. I don't think that's even in question. Like, even considering, like I said, like games that shape the industry, like Pong, Super Mario Brothers in the arcade, Doom because it can be played anywhere, Tetris because it's like a perfect game, the Tetris effect, you know. And like, I don't think there are many other games that you'd put over Final Fantasy VII for number 5. Like, you could make the argument for Minecraft. You could make the argument for, you know, the other arcade games like Pac-Man. You could make the argument for Portal, I guess, GTA 3, but none of them will have had the same impact as Final Fantasy VII. This game makes Square Enix, right? If this game doesn't happen, Square Enix is not like the most well-known RPG franchise maker in the world. Final Fantasy as a franchise itself is not the number one RPG franchise without this game, so it makes sense why they carried making more, all the way up to 16 so far. And there's been sort of like mixed levels of, you know, quality in terms of like Final Fantasy 13 not considered to be too good. Final Fantasy 14 being an MMO is considered to be universally great after the rocky launch to begin with. 15 divisive, 16 I think is generally good, but not really a RPG. It's more of an action game. I don't think there's an outright bad Final Fantasy game. I think that's important. Is like, they are all good in their own ways. Final Fantasy 1 is probably the worst of them. Oh, that's another thing I was going to mention. This is a top 10 game of all time, but I recognize that I've absolutely played the best version of it, because having these cheats, such a big quality of life improvement. Infinite HP and MP, great for just easing the difficulty of it. And it's not a particularly difficult game, but having this just makes things simpler. Turning off random battles. I think every RPG with random battles should have the option to turn them off. And I thought that since Bravely Default. And I think it's kind of strange that Bravely Default was like the first game in a long time to say, yeah, just turn the battles off. You don't need to worry about it. Just go wherever you want. I think any new game with random battles should have the ability to turn them off. And if it doesn't, then that is, again, it's doing a disservice to the player, because being able to just go from place to place without being interrupted is so valuable. And then, yeah, triple speed, of course, being able to speed up Knights of the Round because it's such a long summon, but just, like, you know, walking or running from place to place and not having to get stuck behind the normal running speed. And all the combinations of the two. Like, this game, this version of Final Fantasy VII is on the PC, so you could just mod the game however you want it to. So give yourself max materia, max money, max HP, but these 3 specific cheats, I think, were very important to sort of saying, yeah, we understand that it's not quite the same experience as playing it originally, but for the modern day, for 2025, I think this is probably the most impactful ones. I always play the original PS1 version. I don't have the perks. Yeah, I know. I've seen people say, oh yeah, I'm going to go and get the original PlayStation 1 hardware, and I'm going to find a CRT TV and play it like that. It's like, it's great, but it is important to have things that you know that you have missed out and say, right, this game came out when I was, 10, 9, 8, I never played it the way it was meant to be played because I didn't play it at the time. You will not recapture the feeling of doing that. So having these cheats just makes the experience of playing it again. Also, everything that I've done so far has been keeping in mind of this was a game made in 1997, almost 30 years ago at this point, and it absolutely holds up and stands up. Like, you could play this game without using any of those cheats, right? It would just take a lot longer, I think, what time am I up? It's like 43 hours at level 99. There's probably closer to like 55 to 60 because of, the triple speed doesn't actually speed up the timer too much. But yeah, so in fact, if I go back here, this is the last thing in the Highwind before we went back into Northern Cave, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so then go full pilot, go on. Yeah, we're at Calm, so. But yeah, nah, I am very glad I played this game. It's what I wanted to get out of 2025 at least, so very happy with that. I'll just turn the music off as well. But so yeah, that is Final Fantasy VII on the Nintendo Switch. Very happy I played it. And I suppose now is as good a time as ever to say that, well, depending on when people see this, we are going to be taking a hiatus from doing streams or videos or whatever from August of this year because Pimmsy is pregnant and we are expecting a second child to arrive in August. So from that point on, it's obviously going to be very busy at home and we're going to be... there's going to be like sleepless nights and taking care of the first child as well. It's just going to be, going to be a new experience. So I'm not anticipating I'll be able to do streams or videos anywhere nearly as consistently as I have been. I've wanted to play 13 Sentinels and Final Fantasy VII mainly because it's like, well, those are the games I wanted to play, right? But those two specifically, I was like, right, I want to get this done before, the main event. So thank you, congrats, thank you. As yeah, looking forward to it. So obviously it's not August now, depending on when you're seeing this, but this will be the overall channel update for 2025 is, yes, things will slow down, pause in August for, well, foreseeable future, however long, but yeah, looking forward to it. So, woo. Okay, and I guess that will wrap up the stream for today. So, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed me, well, obliterating Emerald Weapon with the Knights of the Round setup, failing to do Ruby Weapon initially, and then figuring out, of course, you need to work against its will send ability to take enemies, to take your party members out of the fight. And then eventually the fight against Sephiroth. I was going to say, I assume you can't use Sense on Sephiroth, because that version of Sephiroth is supposed to be safer Sephiroth, am I right? Like S-A-F-E-R and then Sephiroth. I don't know why the name is a distinction, like, it's not Genova Sephiroth, it's safer Sephiroth. I don't know, but that might be a translation or thing. Like, that is one of the weaker points, is the translation of this game has not been up to, like, par, because the first boss in the game, it says, attack while its tail up, and then it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing that, but I'm dying for it. So yeah, so there's just little things in there. But, again, I think this version of the game, most of the translation things would have been fixed, like we saw a couple of things like the Misstyle Mithril and the Pile Banger, Pile Bunker, but otherwise, overall, I think they cleaned that up. So yeah, that will wrap it up for today. As always, we stream on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. So twitch.tv/RiggyRob, youtube.com/@RiggyRob. We've got all the other, social media. In Japanese, it's Sephiroth, which is... Okay, so it's the Japanese name. That makes sense, actually, why they would call it that, if it's on the translation of the Japanese name. Sephiroth, Safer Sephiroth. Yeah, that makes sense, actually. In katakana, so probably an English word, yeah. fair enough. I wonder why they used Sepha then. Like, does that have a particular meaning in Japanese for them? I don't know. Well, I can look that up in my own time, I guess. So yeah. We stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time, multi-streaming, and as always, please like, comment, subscribe. Any way you do it, every way you do it, all helps us out. More followers, more viewers, more members, more subscribers, anywhere, it's all very helpful. And yeah, we stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at around about 9 PM UK time. It's, you know, turned into British daylight time, savings time, I don't know. But yeah, it translates to the 1 hour crossover whenever daylight savings happens. I saw it written in katakana, so it's probably a loan word, maybe safer or something. Yeah, okay. That makes sense, So yeah. So, we've finished Final Fantasy VII. I don't know what I'm going to do next. It's going to be shorter games, obviously. Even with the triple speed up thing, 40 hours into a game, part of the reason why I wanted to stream Final Fantasy VII rather than just play it is because I know that I would not get like the same level of time dedicated to it. And also listening to the music. I didn't even mention the music. The music is so iconic. Like, just the selection screen noise, the battle music, the boss battle music. Yeah, that's why it's so iconic. Is well, it's good, you know? Like the level up music, the da 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 da. It's like the Zelda jingle of da 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 da. You know, it sticks in your brain, and well, it's gonna be a self replicating loop, feedback loop, right? Of this game is very popular because the music is good, and the music is good because people like it, and it's popular. Like it, but yeah, there's just so much to this game that, you know. I said the game is actually kind of easy, which is fine because, you know, RPGs don't need to be easy. The super bosses are a right challenge because, you know, level 99 getting that set up is, you know, pretty difficult to do. But yeah, again, we're in 2025. The graphics are a bit dated, but that it's of its time. You know, it's almost 30 years old. At the time, that would have been mind blowing. But it makes sense. I get it now. I get why Final Fantasy VII is so good. So yeah, like I said, that will wrap it up for today. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you all next time.